All right. I think we got the audio working now to come out to the public for between that and what COVID 19 is. COVID is HIV and AIDS. For COVID 19, you test positive when you start showing the symptoms of that. And that becomes important when we start going over these new vaccinations, what they do, and how that's kind of inevitably going to change some of our. This little PowerPoint I made, I think some of the info is listening to some more details coming out. There's some more important stuff to discuss. So what we did is go right to it. These new vaccines that are coming out are a lot different. Old vaccinations were horse and buggy. These new vaccines, we put a bunch of different stuff in a syringe, injected it in us, and basically kind of just shocked the immune system into creating immunity. Technology, this new vaccination is DNA. It tells our body what to make. So with these vaccines, we have two RNA viruses vaccines, and they're made by Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Oxford. So what those vaccines are going to do, the recipe protein. That spike protein attaches to our, and that allows the virus to enter the cell and stop the gene for it. We hide it in a little bubble, and it's that little gene or the recipe, and then our body makes that spike protein. It then shows off that protein to the immune system, which recognizes it and starts an immune response. The DNA virus or vaccine by AstraZeneca, that usually causes the common cold. We all have had an adenovirus, and we got this adenovirus from chimpanzees. The reason we did chimpanzees is because we are exposed to chimpanzees, so we probably won't have an immune response to any viruses that a chimpanzee has. That way, that virus, when we inject it into us, can be undetected by our immune system. It will fuse with our cells, inject the DNA into our cell. The DNA that we inject has genes for so it will not make any more virus. All it's going to make is that protein that we want to show off to the immune system, and that's it. So there's no chance of any more viruses coming out of that. Will you feel sick? Virus is not what's making you sick. It's released by the immune cells, relation of the blood caused by 19. 1,000 participants in this, 42% from around the world and 30% were from the United States. Pfizer, they released demonstrated that BNT162b2 disease process. So the vaccination was 28 days after the first dose. They had 102 of those were placebo, so people that didn't even get the vaccine. 8 people that had COVID-19 did get the vaccine. So what is that saying is 8 people showed symptoms or got sick. This does not tell us how many people would have tested positive for SARS-CoV-2. So we have to keep that in mind, that they could have been asymptomatic shown. Later on, it'll probably be from getting across all ages, all genders. That target demographic that we're worried about, it had over 95% efficacy in that, in preventing disease. It met all the guidelines for, they said the most adverse effects were for peer review, and end of December, and then 1.3 billion with Pfizer's, which means distribution of that vaccine is going to be a little complex. Moderna, they have the other RNA vaccine. Theirs is called mRNA-1273. It is an anti-SARS-CoV-2. And doses, the more you're exposed to it, the higher the response you get, and that's kind of what we want in this. We want the immunity for where Moderna can be stored at 25 degrees, which is much more manageable. Pfizer's dosing is day 1 and day 22. Affects 7 days after the second dose with Pfizer, and 14 days after the second dose with Moderna. With Pfizer, it was 90% effective, that showed no symptoms at all, and Moderna was higher at 94%. With the Moderna trial, it was a double blind there. After 95 people reported symptoms and some severe symptoms, Moderna decided to unblind their study and look, because they felt if the vaccine was causing a problem, it means they had bad case of COVID-19. All 11 of these were in the placebo group. None who received the vaccine had COVID-19 or severe symptoms. This is pretty good, an amazing thing that we're reading here? Is it too good to be true? I don't think so, but you also have to ask, what was the proximity? Were these people in the general public? Pfizer, they're awaiting further analysis to see if the vaccine prevents illness or just dampens its effects. But the main question that we have to, ask here is, does it stop spreading of the virus? If I get this vaccination, which will prevent me from getting sick, can I still spread it to somebody else? And if they're not vaccinated, will they get sick and possibly die? Now, that's the question. If you're for self-preservation, we don't know about the vaccine doing that. What this means is masks are probably still going to be a thing with or without this vaccination. AstraZeneca, the DNA vaccine, it was unique in a way that its placebo wasn't just a saline meningitis vaccine. It would cause an immune response, so the patient would think that they may or they wouldn't know if they didn't get the new vaccine or not, which is kind of new. I haven't seen that before. This vaccine can be stored at 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very manageable. It's costing $3 a dose. During the trial, they did 2 trials, UK and Brazil. In the UK trials, somebody messed up and only gave half the dose to the patients. In Brazil, they received 2 full doses, whereas UK received half a dose and a full dose. Turns out the UK trial was the vaccine 60% is pretty good, 90% is a lot better. So it shows that these than the full dose. Moderna prevent disease, but it's still undetermined whether infection or replication of the host virus is affected. So this DNA virus is basically saying that it stops you from getting SARS-CoV-2. There were no severe COVID cases and no severe side effects from the DNA virus. So AstraZeneca is looking to be the best out of this. They have also doubled their supply, if you think about it, because if they've created 1 million doses and now they realize they only need half of that, they have 2 million doses. So whatever they've created, they've gotten more of that. From the press release, they showed efficacy was 90% when given with half a dose, followed by a full dose at least a month apart. The other dosing regime showed 62% with a combined average of 70%, especially after we do peer review and all of this. So, there seems to be little sign to negate disease. From what it looks like, we need to keep up with is when I'm in a hospital setting and washing my hands, even in trauma situations. Social distance of every Zoom. Set up a Zoom. It's free. Play video games. Chat with them. Just play video games. Chat with them. Just call for things that we do something better today than that. During this crisis, we'll go through this, and it's not just me. Ask questions. Don't make these decisions based off what you hear on the internet. Based off this video alone, I'm not your doctor. But I want people to have the information that we as doctors do get, that don't get sent to your email every day. I get tons of emails about all the new research and all the videos and everything, and to me it makes sense. But also understanding viruses and immunology was really hard in medical school, and I can't imagine explaining that to you in a simple way that holds your attention. And that's unfortunate. If you do want to learn on your own, all the material we learn in medical school is available, a lot of it for free. The only thing a medical school does is tells you what to learn. But if you guys are interested in wanting to learn, I can show you all the resources that basically it's like a Google, it's a search engine with all the evidence-based information available that we can look at. Does require a membership fee, but if that's something you're into and you want to have up-to-date information, that's great. If you want to learn more about immunology, sketchymedical.com. They started right when I was about medical school. Andrew Berg was the creator, and he was a resident. There's everything from microbiology, easy to follow. So there's tons of resources out there. I mean, YouTube's great, Khan Academy Medicine, stuff like that. But you gotta need to explain to be all our family members to be healthy, yourself and your family to be healthy in your work. If we work together, ask and answer questions, living a little longer. But after covering this lecture 3 times and hoping it works this time, I think I'm going to go. I wish you all the best, and I will talk to you very soon.